Limit.
Ja. Vi kör.
Vi kör.
What's up everyone and welcome to A Coffee with Ola. And today I have the guest of honor is Fredrik Åkesson of Opeth. Welcome.
Hi Ola, pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for being here.
Finally get to see your crib.
Yes, exactly. And we actually have some sort of a past before you joined Opeth.
Yeah.
I mean, you started with, from what I remember back, like when I was going out on town in Stockholm, you played in Talisman a lot.
Yeah.
So I catch you guys at Anchor all the time. And also the metal cover band that you were in at the time also played at Anchor a few times.
It's called Monsters of Metal.
Monsters of Metal, exactly. And you played Mouth for War.
We did.
And later on, I took lessons from you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sometime in 2000, mid 2000, I think.
You were asking me about that song actually, Mouth for War.
Exactly.
Pantera.
Because I wanted you to show me the.
Wow, that's cool.
This is one of my, this one.
Oh yeah, that look. How was it? I haven't played that. I think Dime used to play it in another key, but some bends, but yeah, I should have rehearsed the solo. You put me on the spot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you.
But it was like, I think he was alternating.
What, alternating?
Alternating between the band.
Shit, yeah. Yeah.
That kind of thing. Something like that.
Oh shit.
I believe.
There it is. Anyway, you taught me that.
You were supposed to play that song, some gig you were supposed to do, right?
Well, I'm a Pantera fan, so I just wanted to learn it because it's such a cool lick.
Yeah, it's great.
And by that time, you were also in Arch Enemy.
Yes.
And then you joined Opeth. And I remember specifically when you had left Arch Enemy, because at one lesson we had, you told me that, no, I'm not going to play anymore with Arch Enemy, but I got this other really cool Swedish metal band that I'm joining, but I'm not saying who. And I'm like, Opeth? You're like, oh, how did you know?
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, exactly.
I was not supposed to talk about it, but you put me on the spot there.
Well, I guess, like you said, it was a bigger metal band, Swedish metal band that are really cool. It's like, it has to be Opeth. So it was pretty cool. So
yeah, that's
and
a bit of a fairy tale. Really, I was lucky,
Yeah.
After leaving Arch Enemy, and that opportunity came up.
Was it like Mikael took lessons from you?
Not really. I think he saw me at Pub Anchor also playing these metal covers.
Yeah.
And he also were familiar with my playing with the band Crux,
right.
which is a doom metal band with the guys from Candlemass and
Yes.
Entombed that I did 3 albums with, and he was a friend of Leif Edling.
Yes.
And
right.
I think he, noticed me that way as well. And I met him at this pub, and he was talking about, I want you to give me a guitar lesson. I was telling him, are you joking? I mean, are you kidding me?
He's a great guitar player.
You're a great guitar player.
Yeah.
You're the one that should give me lessons, But we finally had a meeting at his house, which maybe was some kind of secret audition, because he was showing me some, like the Deliverance riff with Opeth and some of his playing, a lot of his finger picking style, acoustic type of playing. And he just has a different way of playing guitar riffs. His time signatures is different from other people I've played with, which is very interesting for me at the time to get into his style. And I basically just had to learn his style. But anyhow, getting back to this answer of your question, we hanged out a lot when we did a tour together, Gigantor with Megadeth in the States with Lamb of God, and it was 2006, I believe. So that was also maybe something that led to our collaboration, because we got along really well, me and the other guys as well. We were playing a Guitar Hero video game at the time, was very popular.
Yes.
Hanging in the back lounge while sitting with that game.
Yes. Awesome.
Very nerdy.
Yes. So you come from like I consider you being one of Sweden's like you're like a really underrated Swedish guitar player. You have this Upplands Väsby type of sound. You're more from that school. I mean, the Yngwie and John Norum type of playing. I wouldn't say that you're playing is modern. It's very like back from that era.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think your playing is like, it's so good. I mean, it's so refreshing to hear. I mean, everyone nowadays, you know, everyone gets you know, impressed by speed and, you know, like everything. You just have such a fluent and, you know, really nice vibrato, like all that I think is really important. All of that you have. Like, when did you start playing guitar, and like what were your heroes?
Well, I mean, my first heroes was Angus Young and Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to rock, basically.
Yeah.
And I didn't pay much time in practicing that time. It was just some power chords and this is rock.
Yeah.
And then I discovered Michael Schenker on this Dortmund gig that Swedish national television broadcasted back in, I was 8 or 9 or something. Right. And Schenker was playing this tune called Concerto Conservatoire or something, which is actually a brand of a brandy name.
Right.
Concerto Conservatoire or something like that. I can't really pronounce it.
All right.
But that's a very calm tune, and he had this momentum. His tone was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just something happened when I watched it. Like, oh, you can do that with the guitar. I didn't know that. And also, of course, Yngwie inspired me to start practicing a lot.
Right.
Where I grew up, there was a big guitar community. It was like every kid was playing guitar, and everybody was competing with each other. So it was pretty different times. Everybody went into Ed Van Halen, Gary Moore, Michael Schenker, and that kind of stuff. But that was kind of my foundation when I grew up, listening to Gary Moore, Michael Schenker, Uli Roth, Frank Marino. Yeah. Because I was hanging out with hard rockers that was older than me, because I figured that's a cool way, and I also tried to jam with people that was older than me. Yeah. Because they didn't listen to like the Wasp and Motley Crue that the other kids were listening to at the time, you know. So that was pretty cool to dig a little bit back in the history, I guess. But when I started, I was very focused on just learning how to play fast, really. Yeah. And I was digging deep into the Paul Gilbert instructional videos, like a lot of players probably have done or have done, and intense speed or intense rock or something. Like the first 2 DVDs, I was learning them like
by heart.
Yeah, and then some older guy got me into listening to some other stuff. Like you have to think about the tone and stuff. So
right.
Pay some attention to that too, and so I did. And it's a mix of everything, I guess. But I like modern stuff as well. I mean, I like Alan Holdsworth and players like Sean Lane and those kind of more fusion. Like I can't really play like that, but I get inspired by it, and sometimes I try to bring out something in that vein. Yeah,
right. So how old were you when you joined Talisman? That was like 93 or 94?
Yeah, something like that. I was 19.
Yeah.
So, and they were 10 years older than me, so I was just a kid.
Yeah.
But it was a big thing then, you know, because they used to play with Rising Force, with Yngwie. They played on Marching Out album, I'm a Viking, all that stuff. I was totally into at the time. Yeah. Those early Yngwie albums, they were good metal albums. Yeah. So yeah, that was like overwhelming thing. Got to go to Japan when I was 20 years old, you know.
And back in that era when it was still Japan. I mean, right now it's kind of almost westernized, but back then it was, you know, Japan was something else.
Everybody took their shoes off, I remember, before they went into the gig. It's still like that when you play in Tokyo, though. People come, because you play very, very early shows there. Like
yes,
6, 7 in the evening. Yes. So people usually come directly after their work.
Yes, exactly.
So therefore they, of course, have their suits still on. The regular metal gig you go to with everybody wearing band t-shirts and patches and stuff.
Then you left Talisman for...
I wanted to play more heavier stuff, you know.
Okay.
It was a fun band to be in because there was a lot of soloing and stuff like that. Marcel was into like Miss Billy Sheehan, there was a lot of unison, all that stuff, and solos and so forth. Some cool riffs, but some of it was way too melodic for me. Like I want to play more metal, basically. Yeah. And so I did an own band called Southpaw with Matt Slavin and Rick Evensand, drummer. Right. Which also turned it into something. It was weird times. It was when grunge was going. So this album came out to being a bit more experimental than I thought it would be, but it was different from Talisman at least. And after that, basically, I couldn't really live off playing, so I had different jobs and playing weekends, like anchor gigs, a lot of gigs there. Right. like that was probably a good learning period for me, playing all these covers every week and then working weekdays just to maintain and hopefully develop as a player as well. Yeah. And then after a while I got this gig with the Crux, which was great. You know, we didn't tour that much, but we did 3 albums and it was fun. It's epic doom metal.
Yep.
Playing with Peter and Jörgen, who used to be in Entombed at that time, and Leif from Candlemass, and Matt Slam was on vocals as well, and Dr. Carl on keyboards.
Yes, exactly. So you mentioned Southpaw. You released 1 album, but I remember you played another album for me, or for me and my friends when we were at your place getting lessons. And I remember hearing that guitar tone, like rhythm guitar tone, was insane. Like it was such a good rhythm guitar tone. I was like, shit, what the hell is this? And you're like, yeah, that's an Engel Powerball.
Yeah.
That made me buy an Engel Powerball.
I had the Fireball first, but I thought it was a bit brittly.
Yeah.
And then the Powerball came out and I thought it had a bit more warmer tone to it, but still very aggressive.
Yeah. That album never got released, did it?
No, it didn't. I mean, it was...
there was some really sick riffs on there. I remember listening to like, shit, this is like next level.
Yeah, I was listening a lot to Nevermore at the time and thrash metal in general, but more of the technical stuff, I guess. So that was kind of inspired by that. Some doomy stuff as well. But we were experimenting with different singers and we didn't really find the right one. And it was recorded with Johan Niemann, who is now in Evergrey.
Yes.
Great bass player, and also Sami Karppinen, the drummer, and he also owned the studio and engineered it. He's the drummer in Therion.
Exactly.
And he also works with Opeth with Martin Axelrod as our tech.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a guy I call when I have problems, you know, with my home studio. Can help me.
Right.
He's a problem solver and a fantastic drummer as well. Yeah. Anyhow, but that never got released. But 1 song actually ended up on a collaboration I've been working on recently, apart from Opeth.
Right. So there's some almost like a solo album, not your solo album, but it's
not mine. It's Biff Byford from Saxon. It's his solo album.
Yeah.
But we hang out. We met in town.
Yeah.
And we started bouncing ideas. I had some ideas. I figured this would probably fit Biff's voice.
So you wrote songs for his solo album, basically?
Yeah, we wrote 3 songs together. He did the vocal melodies and the lyrics.
Yeah.
And also he asked me to do an arrangement of the song Scarborough Fair.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that was nothing like the Simon and Garfunkel version that people are most familiar with, I guess. I mean, it's a trad song and he's from that area, so it's something that it relates to him, and it's kind of weird. I mean, he's been in the business for a long time and this is the first time he does a solo album. So it has a bit of rock, a bit of a progressive metal and some metal and stuff like that. So
are you planning to gig anything with this? Or?
We're talking about it. He's been asking me, but it depends on the Opeth schedule. That's my main priority. But it was a cool thing to do something different. It was a pretty hectic time for me because we recorded the latest Opeth album, In Cauda Venenum, in late last year, November. And then I directly after Christmas went to Biff's in the UK and did 3 weeks there. And then I went back to his house and did solos and stuff.
Okay.
He lives pretty cool, like north of on the countryside outside of York, and it's a nice place to be, the northern England. I liked it.
Yeah, that's nice. So Opeth.
Anyhow, sorry to interrupt, but just gonna say that song I played you, one of those songs you mentioned from that unreleased attempt to an album,
cool.
One of them ended up on the Biff album.
Oh, cool. So I can actually hear that again.
You can. You will someday.
Amazing.
Early next year.
Great. Does it have the Powerball on it?
Actually, the solo, yeah.
Okay.
I was lazy. I kept the solo. I was like, it's a lot of hard work to do that solo.
I will do the exact same thing.
But I redid the rhythms, but actually with an Engel.
Oh, okay.
Saxons, they had an old Engel that Biff owns at his house. So I was using his Les Paul Gold Top from '72. And he had the second generation of PAF pickups, which is allowed because that was the one Ed Van Halen had in his Frankenstein. And I actually got to buy a couple of him. So I put in my old Les Paul. But something magic with that Engel amp and this Gold Top and this second generation of the PAF pickups.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, you mentioned there's a new Opeth album.
Yes.
In Cauda.
In Cauda.
Cauda
Venenum.
Venenum.
In Cauda Venenum.
What does that mean?
it means the poison comes at the end, or the poison is in the tail. In the album artwork, there's a drawing of us being like an insect, like a scorpion with our faces. It's kind of funny, or it's kind of cool.
Awesome. I listened to it a couple times since Friday. It was released past Friday. And, you know, I'm a big Opeth fan. And it's probably one of the better Opeth albums in maybe since, in my opinion, since Watershed, I think. It really reminds me of old Opeth in a way. I mean, there's some elements of it that sounds like old Opeth, just but with, you know, Michael doing his thing. He's even singing in Swedish on one half of the album. It's the same album, sorry, but there's a Swedish version as well.
Exactly.
Which is really admirable that you would actually take the time to record two versions of the album.
Yeah, I mean, for we didn't, the band.
Exactly, you didn't have to do shit, you just recorded once.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also something I noticed, like just all the Swedish samples on the album.
It is.
It's like, it's really mind-twisting being a Swede and listening to all of that. Like even when he sings in English, the samples are still in Swedish.
Yeah.
From movies, like old movies, I guess.
Yeah, it's a kids cartoon thing from the 70s, I believe, or early 80s. It's called Skrotnisse.
Oh yeah,
that's from the author Jan Lööf.
Yeah, that's right.
I read his stories to my daughter every night. Almost every night.
Yeah. It's a really good album. I must say I enjoy it a lot.
Oh, thank you.
So how's it going so far? How have the audience kind of reacted to the album?
Mainly, well, I read some forums, but it seems like it's a really good reception.
Yeah.
We feel really strong about it. I mean, we feel like we went the extra mile when it comes to production and everything, and we're very picky. Also, the fact that we actually rehearsed as an entire band for once.
Before
we haven't done that
recording.
since the Watershed album, actually. So we could play the songs from beginning to end, and I think that made us more. It gave us the opportunity to experiment with, shall we have that bass or that bass, or that guitar, or that amp,
and even like trying the songs together. I mean, it's when you try them together, you notice if something is not working or not, and you can, you know.
Exactly.
Change.
I mean, some stuff, since our keyboard player says sometimes he needs 13 fingers because Michael programmed his keyboards.
Yes, exactly.
And some things is not possible for a human being to play.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you have to make some adjustments to be able to play them, basically.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting.
So the album is more of spur of the moment, more than rather being a programmed album.
Well, I think the demos are really well done.
Yeah.
Michael puts a lot of time into the demos. We use the demos as a click track when we record the actual album. So therefore, I mean, when Axe is starting with the drums, you usually start with those, of course, as you of course know.
Yeah.
But he uses the entire demo to play on, except the drums. So then you hear the entire idea of the song, the vocal lines, everything. So he could put a feel where it's supposed to be, or what's tasteful for the song, you know.
Okay.
Which is a great way to work for us. We've been doing it since the Watershed album.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool, actually. Then when we start recording guitars and bass, we take out the click track and just play along with the drums, and hopefully that gives a little bit of human kind of swing.
Groove, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was a great recording. We recorded at Park Studios here in Stockholm.
Yes. Right.
So they had a lot of cool gear.
Yeah, they have a lot of old gear.
Yeah, right. A lot of high-tech gear as well.
Okay.
I don't know what that Pro Tools console is called, the big one. Maybe you know.
I don't know.
The big high-tech one.
Right.
Let's just leave it at that. But right before we ever went into the studio, they bought a old Neve from '73.
That's cool.
When it's apparently was still hand soldered.
Oh, okay.
And also they have the EMI console, which is an 8-track console. There were only 8 of them made.
Oh.
That Beatles used in the Abbey Road, and Stefan Bowman, who engineered us and record and also mixed the album.
Yeah.
He preferred to record guitars through that EMI console.
Oh, that's cool.
Because, like with the old tape machines, you could push the signal a bit more.
Exactly. Get the natural compression.
Yeah, even though you record with the digital Pro Tools setup, those apparently work better to push the signal more somehow.
Right. That's cool. That must be so inspiring as well, just sitting around all this equipment, it kind of gets you into the vibe. I mean, there's something about sitting in front of your computer like this, sitting, writing, and recording.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's fun, I would imagine it being a lot more inspiring to actually be in a studio where it's all set up for you.
Yeah, and somebody's doing all the knobs twisting for you.
Yeah, and you just sit there and deliver, basically.
Yeah, it was difficult though, because they had a lot of guitars there, and we brought maybe 20 guitars, different ones, PRSs that we usually we play, and also happily endorsed by. But we also brought, I have some vintage guitars. I brought like a 65 SG Special, I believe, the one with the P90 pickups.
Okay.
So I like to record with a humbucker. If I overdub the recording, I like to record with a humbucker and the P90 to make it a bit more grittier.
Cool.
Anyhow, and they had 58 Strat original and like a lot of cool vintage guitars. And it's strange when we're in the studio, I think, when you have the loop on. It's usually those old pieces of wood that just make some kind of magic that pops through the sound picture a bit more than maybe a modern guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what amps were used?
Yeah.
Was there a wide variety, or do you stick to one? Or
it's kind of cool story actually, because there's a local amp builder here in Stockholm called Olson Amps.
Oh, okay.
By Guitar Geeks. You've been there.
Exactly.
And me and John Olson, the founder, we've been working on the gain structure for a couple of years actually. And that
I think you showed that to me when we were there at there's a Guitar Geeks podcast.
Exactly.
You showed that to me, and I actually made a video, I think, a short video that I shared with my YouTube members.
I don't know which. We've been working on kind of 3 different ones.
Okay.
So I think this in particular one, I don't think you tried that.
Okay.
But it's the same gain structure.
Okay.
But the only one that's out now is called Little Hill, and it's a 20-watt smaller type of amp with the EL84s in it. But it has a cool gain structure. Like it's quite a lot of gain, but the separation is good, and it's easy. It's nice it works with you when you play like legato licks and stuff. It pops out. But anyhow, to make a long story short, John, right before we went into the studio, he asked me, do you want me to do a 100-watt head with this gain structure? You can just bring it on, and I just put it together. I won't tweak it, because it was a week right before we were supposed to enter the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, do that. And we brought that prototype 100-watt with EL34s in it, and we A/B tested it to a lot of other amps, and it won the marathon basically. So that was the amp that we use on all the rhythms.
Oh, cool.
But then on the new album, there's a track called Charlatan, which is kind of a offbeat, modern type sounding, kind of metal song.
Yeah, that's right.
And the funny thing about that track is there's no guitars on it.
Right.
So you have the regular bass, and then me and Michael's playing extremely distorted bass in the upper register and lower.
Right.
So it's kind of where Michael didn't want to sound like a nu metal song. That was the reason why.
Okay.
And playing only the basses made it sound much more grittier.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And dirty actually, and it was kind of fun actually. So
will you do that live as well?
If we play that song, yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
But I think you can blow up your amps though. It's a bit dangerous.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what happened.
Oh.
So when we were supposed to do the solos, since we played the bass through this amp, something weird happened. Like 2 of the tubes, their bias went somewhere else.
Okay.
They weren't supposed to be,
Okay.
So, so we used the Friedman B100 for the leads, which works fantastic.
Nice.
And we also used Marshall Plexis, a couple of old ones.
Okay.
And we had more of a jazzy track we used in an old Gibson amp, Maestro, before it's called Gibson, like from the 50s, some ancient thing. Yeah. But that was with I don't even know what those jazz guitars is called, but the big Gibson ones.
Okay.
335.
Oh, like the old concert, like
through that amp.
Okay, cool.
Just get some different type of sound. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned PRS. You've been playing PRS since you basically joined Opeth.
Yeah, since 2007 basically.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. You still have is there a specific US custom shop guitar that you play, or is there I know there has been signature guitars.
Yeah,
I know.
Those were the SE models, but
but
I mean we were happy with them.
Yeah.
But they don't sell them anymore.
Ah, okay.
Might do in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
But since a few years back we started using the piezo system.
Right.
So all the guitars we use live now have the piezo.
Right. So you don't do any acoustic guitars, any like.
No.
Nothing.
Well, I'm thinking about it because there's a song in the new tour, but let's leave that. See what happens. But yeah, it works great. You know, I actually alternate between distorted and acoustic at the same time. Some riffs, but some old more death metal stuff has like picking parts with distortion and acoustic, and it's kind of cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
But you also have to have the signal
split,
so you go into DI box and to the PA. Otherwise, if you just use it in the amp, it doesn't work very well. Exactly. I think. So we're kind of bound to use those, but my main one is probably P24 custom.
Yeah.
But also I use the SC, the single cut kind of Les Paul with a fixed bridge.
Right.
But that has a shorter scale. So it could be a bit tricky jumping in between scale lengths as a gig because you kind of have to intonate or calibrate your fingers when you bend and do vibrato.
Exactly, because you have to switch up the string gauge as well, I guess.
Yeah.
If you use the same, it's going to be a lot easier to bend on.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more slinky,
Do you play, is it 2475, is that your like, oh no, PRS has their own 25 scale.
They have the 25 and they have the 250 and they have the 245.
Okay, yes.
But recently they came up with something called 594, which is a bit longer, almost like the Gibson scale.
Okay.
The 245 is slightly shorter than the Gibson scale, I believe, but this one is something in between. And that's actually the favorite scale length they have come up with since I started working with them.
Cool.
I use one of those guitars called 594, McCarthy 594. They're awesome. It's for me, it's perfect scaling.
Yeah, awesome. I would love for you to show me a couple of riffs, just like we did back when I was taking lessons. Let's bring out the Strat.
Yeah, I saw that film you made when you bought this one. Loved it.
Awesome. It was my birthday. I mean, I tried almost every Strat in the store. That was the one.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's a riff from the new album.
Oh.
Dignity.
Awesome. You just have so many awesome licks. That's
really?
Kind of, you're like a
You're going to put me on the spot now.
Yes. So show me a really, really badass lick.
A badass lick?
Unfortunately, I don't have I'll take this.
Yeah, okay. What kind of vein were you?
Some bluesy.
Some bluesy stuff?
Yeah.
Well, recently I started using, when I was younger, I was into this kind of economy picking thing.
Yes.
And then I was totally obsessed just alternate picking.
Right.
And then live, usually, when I improvise playing fast, it's usually a combination of picking and legato. Hammer-on pull-offs.
So you're not doing that much economy picking?
No, but actually I started in a way. There's a track called, what's it called? Chrysalis, from the previous album, Sorceress. Yes. Now starting with this kind of technique when I play. It's like a... I'm not used to these strings.
No. What I notice with economy picking is that it works for certain licks or stuffs. It's not like, I know a lot of players are out there, they use it all the time, but it's easier almost to have it on a certain type of, like an arpeggio or something like that, just to get through quicker.
When I started analyzing, I didn't really think about that I do it. Then I started analyzing and I thought about this practice thing that's kind of cool that I had some use for now, which is, I can show you that one if you like. And it's based on the E minor pentatonic scale, just playing on 2 strings horizontally.
Okay.
So you go...
Okay.
Something like that, so that would be the first shape.
Are you finger picking this, or?
So that is, no, it's just a pick, but it's down, down, up.
Okay.
But when you move to the next position,
up.
Then it alternates. So it's down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, up.
Okay, gotcha.
You need to move up to the 10th fret. Yeah. So if you just focus on those 2 shapes, then can you just add on. So it's. And if you practice slow for a long time, it's very effortless to build up speed on it. Actually.
Right.
It's very convenient to play.
Yeah.
Like on the fly.
I think you're saving a lot of energy in your right hand.
If I would do that all today, it wouldn't be possible.
No.
Maybe some like Steve Morse, he can play arpeggios.
Yes.
Alternate pick, but I can't do that. Then you can probably add like. Oh, sorry. You can add some more notes like. For instance.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm watching your pick there because there's a lot of in between. Some is economic, and then you go alternate, economic, alternate.
Yeah,
so it's a big ass mixture.
I have to play slow to analyze it, but.
Yeah, it's whenever you.
I never learned the dime-back trick. I can't do it.
Oh shit! This.
Yeah. Like, oh shit.
No, you just drop it, flick the finger.
Look.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. I was.
Oh, it's still in tune. Shit. Pretty much.
I like that. One scale that I'm totally hooked to now is like the Hungarian scale.
Okay.
So that's. You probably know that shape.
Yeah.
So I usually use it in octaves, like hexagon.
Yeah, just to keep it easy.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That I use a lot in the Opeth solo, some solo. Stuff like that.
Right.
But anyhow, it's kind of cool to map it out in all the 7 positions, like. And so forth.
Yeah. Are you thinking in theory or are you?
Not really.
No.
But hopefully, I try to practice scales and stuff and modes.
Yeah.
And it's boring to listen to somebody run scales up and down.
Right.
You need to find some kind of melodic patterns.
Yes.
Some melody, but like for that scale, for instance, the goal is to get something into your muscle memory, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can do it on the fly.
Without thinking.
So hopefully get away from your standard licks that you have in your bag. Like if I'm in an A sort of, then I can use that to get out, and it's like, oh, what the fuck was that?
Exactly.
Then back to some bluesy stuff,
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Which is it's one thing that I try to do, I guess. But I also like I like to find shapes that's a bit weird, like. Some melodic way to travel up from that place to this place. And so forth.
Dude, thank you so much.
My pleasure. We can guitar nerd forever now.
Yes, I know. That's the problem. You can sit forever.
Yeah.
But there's just so much film to be able to, like so much space on the memory cards.
You also have kids.
Do you have any cool tricks, by the way? Like.
My favorite trick is, like, for noise is this one.
Okay, just stop them and then turn up the volume.
Those two. The G string 5 harmonic and the 7. So it's usually, I've done it on a few Opeth things. It's a ballad solo on the new album. I do it in the middle of it. You get that kind of
Sounds like Ia a little bit.
Yeah, he's amazing at that stuff.
Yeah, all the harmonics in the world.
I can't do that, but sometimes it's. I usually maybe do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
See you guys.